Hey collectors, welcome to Star Wars Collected. I'm Jonathan. We have another 1/6 scale collectible that we're going to be unboxing today. Tilt the box up here for you guys. Now it says Hot Toys on the front, but looks can be deceiving. This just happens to be the box that this was shipped in. What's inside of this is actually the Sideshow Lando Skiff guard. We're going to open it up, we're going to pose it, take a look at it, and give it a review. So you know we love a good deal here on Star Wars Collected, and I won't go into the details on this one, but it was a really good price, and I've got a couple Lando items in my collection. I have the original Sideshow Lando Calrissian, which, you know, any of those kind of older Sideshow figures, they're not the quality that we love today, but I have him, and I also made a Skiff Guard mask that was 3D printed that I finished. Which I like quite a bit, but I had seen this guy, come out a while ago, and saw a couple people have them and take them out, and I thought it was a really cool piece. And right off the bat here, I'm a little disappointed. I'm seeing something on top here, which is either part of the figure inside or part of some sort of insect or something, I'm not sure. We'll put that over there. So anyway, Skiff Guard, I thought it was a really cool piece, and it made me interested in picking it up for myself, and the opportunity arose. So we're actually unboxing a lot of 6 scale figures right now here on the channel. We just did the Armorer, we've got Lando here, and I have 2 more behind the camera. Technically 3 more behind the camera that we'll be unboxing here in the coming weeks. So if you're in the 6 scale collectibles, make sure you subscribe and come back and check us out. So the box here on the outside, not the greatest looking box as far as the condition of this one goes. We kind of have that standard black and gray Star Wars collectible box that we see everywhere. This, of course, did not come with the original shipper. That came with a Hot Toys shipper. Someone else apparently collects other items. So what do you guys think about shippers? Is it worth retaining a shipper? Does it mean more to you when you have it or not? And on the back here we have another portrait of the Skiff Guard. Now, I firmly believe that Hot Toys does a better job than Sideshow with their 6 scale collectibles. So, all things the same, I will probably go with a Hot Toy collectible over a Sideshow collectible almost every day of the week. Now, I do prefer my Sideshow Grogu over what Hot Toys did, but that's just one of the few examples I can really think of. However, Sideshow makes some figures that Hot Toys doesn't, and this is one of them. So, Lando is a character which we're first introduced to in The Empire Strikes Back. You're really not so sure about Lando. He, double crosses all our heroes, but obviously he was sort of backed into a corner, did what he felt like he had to do. Now, we've been unboxing a lot of Hot Toys recently, so this is going to look like a little sparse compared to what we normally get with a Hot Toy, but you know what? I am okay with this. I think $200 or less is the sweet spot for a 1/6 scale collectible, in my opinion, to retail for. I understand that, they put a lot of work and effort into these, and they're going to cost what they're going to cost, but any more of these Hot Toy pieces, man, they're getting so expensive that I just can't justify a lot of the figures that I'd love to collect. Okay, so accessory-wise here we have this sort of Skiff Guard blaster that is pretty distinct. It looks a lot actually like Kanan Jarrus's as well. We have this piece here, which is sort of like a vibroblade axe. I think this is a very distinct piece. This is a piece that I think of often when I think of Return of the Jedi. It's something which I could definitely see myself building a prop of someday. I know that this piece right here in specific is a hairdryer from the 70s or 80s, which is pretty cool. And once you look at it, you can kind of see how that may have been the case. But, a very cool piece. I will say that this does sort of look like one piece that has been painted, opposed to, I feel like a lot of times with the Hot Toys, you sort of get like a modular effect to the weaponry. You kind of feel like the blasters or something like that weren't molded as one piece, but assembled. But they still have a little bit of extra paint difference here on the blade that's a little bit brighter silver, and this little piping coming out of here, that's also a little bit brighter silver. So, nothing terrible, a little bit of paint nicked off down here. So paint wear in all the right places, I would say still. Now this one does come with 2 portraits. You have the portrait that it looks like he shipped with, or at least the former owner had decided to put on him. You know, this is, I think, a pretty darn good portrait. It is certainly better than the older Sideshow collectible portraits. I think it looks very much like Billy D, who I actually had the pleasure of meeting once in Cincinnati, the home of Star Wars toys. And he was at a comic expo there, and got to meet him, and that was a pretty cool experience. I think that was actually kind of my first, I think it was the first time I actually met any Star Wars people. It was him. I met Tim Rose, a couple other people. I got, I don't know, 3 or 4 different autographs that day. So there's that portrait on there, and then there's this one, which I think is the one. This is him with the helmet on. Now he is very well disguised behind there, so that is in some ways a little bit unfortunate, because this head sculpt is so good that I almost feel bad using this one. But this mask is so cool that how can you not use this one? It's almost too bad that this isn't a separate piece that fits on top of that head sculpt, because I would somewhat consider maybe having, you know, the blade in his hand, and then maybe having him holding this helmet or something like that in the other one, because this helmet is so cool. I just don't see how I can't use it. And then, like I said, the little blaster that we have here, this one is slightly bending off to the side. I thought I noticed that at first. Now that could be something from Sideshow, that could be something from the former owner here. I think this blaster is probably going to go promptly right into his holster, so I'm not too concerned about that. Let me see what else we might have here. Lifting it up. Now we do have a second layer here that I was not aware of, but all of a sudden I noticed we didn't have a stand. So inside of here are additional hand sculpts, so that's good to see. It was looking a little sparse to me. Now I'm not one that needs 15 hands or anything like that, but having a little bit of posing options depending on the hand is also a great thing to have. So here we go. Another set of hands here. They've done a good job at having the skin on top be appropriately dark and then going lighter as we get to the palms. We have a sort of tube type piece here for holding the sort of doll holder. Sideshow tends to do sort of these crotch ones, which go from up from underneath. What's nice about that is that Lando here sort of has a little flap in the front, so that should hide this piece pretty well. And then he sort of has a stand here, a little sparse. I would say a little sparse. There's nothing on here that says his name, or that is, you know, furnished in some way. This would be cool if this had like a Jabba Palace type base, or the like the floorboards of a skiff, or Jabba's sail barge or something like that. That would make a much cooler display. So a little disappointing, I would say, on the display. I'm not one that wants overly complex displays, but something that kind of adds to it a little bit is nicer than something perhaps this plain. This looks a little lower end to me than what I would expect from Sideshow. So overall, I think the figure looks fantastic. I think the sculpt looks great. We have a lot of great mixed media here, lots of layers. There's a little piece of string here that holds things on. Yeah, everything is looking pretty good. Joints feel pretty good to me. Should have pretty good posability. He has these sandals on. I've never realized that Lando was wearing sandals during that. So there's sort of this piece coming up here, but ultimately at the base, it is like a sandal type shoe. So that's interesting, a detail I never noticed about Skiff Guard Lando. And it's got quite a few straps that hold his armor on. So that took, you know, a little extra engineering here like there. And his hair looks really good. I think they've done a great job with that. And I like the chest plate here. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and decide which pose we want to do, which hands we want to use, get the head swapped out. We'll pose it, we'll come back. All right, collectors, we have the Baron all posed up here at this point. Lando Calrissian himself. What I wanted to do is I wanted to go after the moment in Return of the Jedi when our heroes kind of walk past this masked figure and you see this hand go up and it gets pulled down a little bit and it reveals that it's Lando underneath. That is sort of the moment that when I saw this figure that my eyes flashed to. So luckily the hands that he came with already in the box were already the perfect hands for that. So we have him sort of reaching up for his mask there, and I've got the thumb behind and the finger on top. And then I still wanted to use his, his vibro axe here. So I went ahead and sort of put that in his hand with him gripping at the top, and then just sort of put one foot out and the other foot back. Sort of, it kind of made sense for him to be, using it to sort of steady himself. We have the blaster back here in his holster as it should be, and he's ready to go. So, very cool figure. I think it came with just about the right amount of accessories. I think anything more than what it came with would have been things I wouldn't have used, but I would have been paying for. So I kind of like that Sideshow strips it down a little bit. This little mystery piece from before, I don't see where it would have broken off of our hero here, so I don't know what it came from, but luckily it's not part of him. Growing up, Return of the Jedi was my favorite film. I think I just liked all the action and the aliens and maybe even the Ewoks, who knows. So this figure kind of really stood out to me, but I'm glad I have both the Empire Strikes Back version and this version of him in Return of the Jedi. So cool figure overall. I don't know what he retailed for. I'm glad that I picked him up for less. Lando is not an absolute favorite character of mine, but I think he's an important character for the story, an important character to have representation of in my collection. So let me know what you guys think of this figure. Do you think Sideshow did a good version of this? If Hot Toys were to do a version of this, what would you like to see them do differently about it? If I were to answer my own question, this sort of tunic or whatever he's wearing underneath here, a little shiny, looks a little new, and same with the khaki pants that he's wearing. So, a little bit of weathering. One thing I noticed was that on the Sideshow website, they show some of these armor pieces being a lot more jade in color. This one a little bit more that way. I'm glad that it looks like this and not what they showed on the Sideshow website. But overall, I'm very pleased with this piece. So, yeah, if you're thinking about maybe picking this guy up, I would recommend it. Maybe just make sure you get it for a price that you feel comfortable with. I think maybe a little overpriced from the factory originally. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you like videos like this, please consider subscribing. It's a fast growing channel. We're having a ton of fun here, especially if you like 6-scale collectibles or 1-to-1 size collectibles, things like that. That's primarily what I collect. Also, make sure you check us out on Instagram. We have a lot of fun stuff going on there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see ya.